So, my second lecture is the production of biopharmaceuticals, role of biotechnology. So, you can see I will just little bit go about this one, which of course, all you are very much familiar with, that how we are going to define the biotechnology. You see, any biotechnology is defined by different people in the different ways, but as such if you say the engineers, the biotechnology is defined the way I have defined, and it should not be only to the engineers, but it should be universally accepted that biotechnology is a function of the three variables, whether he is a geologist or botanist or biochemist or chemical engineers or biochemical, it does not matter, but it will have to be admitted that biotechnology is a function of three variables, the life, chemistry and the process technology. Now, life is from the microbial source, from the animal source, from your plant source, whatever the sources may be, the life is always there. Without life, biotechnology is meaningless. But again, you can say that immobilized cell immobilized technology or enzyme immobilization technology, are they biotechnology? Yes, they are biotechnology, no doubt, but if you see the root is from the life cells. Enzymes are taken from the plant or the mammalian or for the microbes, it is the life. So, the life is the, you can say it is the common, and then the chemistry. Now, chemistry, in order to understand anything in the life process, chemistry is a part and parcel of that one. I think if you see that protein, how the protein is being generated from your DNA replications and other things, passenger RNA, DNA to RNA and all these things, everywhere the chemistry part is very much important, because it is the peptide bonds which are synthesized, it is the phosphodiesterase bonds which are synthesized. So, everywhere the stoichiometry takes place, everywhere the chemical reaction rules are applied in the biological systems. If you see the simple things, if you see that the TCA cycle, or maybe if you see that SLP cycle, that is substrate level phosphorylation cycle, or your different types of cycles which are going on in the microbes, everywhere the stoichiometry is, the glucose is converted to glucose 6 phosphate and then fructose 6 phosphate and then diphosphate and all these things. Everywhere if you see that these are all the conjugative reactions, and all the conjugative reactions are taking place without your knowledge or without my knowledge, but the things are all going on, and they are going on in the most scientific ways. I do not know who has made all the scientific ways to go it, we only discover the things, but maybe somebody else who is taking care about all the things, and it has started from the very beginning of the things. So, this biotechnology, you do the life, you do the chemistry things, and then process technology is required in order to see those materials the light of the day. Because suppose if you see the biotechnology, the technology part is more than the bio. I am not differentiating the whole things in this way, but biotechnology will be successful in our country or any country when the technology oriented research or technology will come into the picture. Any, if you see to the invention of different types of process or any other thing, the science is the first. Without science, technology cannot come. You have to have the science, there is no doubt about it, but for every science there must be an objective to put it into the real life, and that is the way that all the inventions have come, and we are getting the fruits of all these inventions. So, use of the living organisms to solve the problems or the make useful products like bread, yogurt, wine, cheese, all these things come from the microbes, all vitamins, amino acids, enzymes, you name a few. Microbes are used to control the insects and the pests and nitrogen fixing bacteria to improve the crop yield. That means everywhere enzymes or everywhere your microbes are taking part, and they are doing lots of fruitful works in our biotechnology. If you see, scientific knowledge is related with the biotechnology tools, and which is again useful with the useful applications. Actually, these three parts, actually this part and this part and this part, these three parts in dynamic equilibrium. You see, this biochemistry, cell biology, chemical engineering, computer science, material science, genetics, blah blah, biochemical engineering, one arrow is on this side, another arrow is on this side. That means they are all in dynamic equilibrium, and out of this science what you are getting, biotechnological tools, and these tools are biosensor technology, tissue engineering, cell genetic engineering, DNA chips, molecular antibodies, protein, all this technology have come, and with this technology what we are doing, with this technology we are making these useful products, environmental products, medical products, agricultural products, then so many other things. I am not able to give it there, but your blue biotechnology, red biotechnology, then your green biotechnology, all type of biotechnology applications are there, and any sphere of life you say the biotechnology is there. Now, you can see the types of biotechnology, white or grey biotechnology, which we are generally doing, that is the industrial biotechnology, production of the new chemicals, development of the new chemicals, fuels for the vehicles, medical and pharmaceutical biotechnology, that is the NIPER, what NIPER does, that is the red biotechnology, green biotechnology, what the Punjab Agriculture University and all these places applies to agriculture, which involves the development of the pest resistant grains and other things, and blue biotechnology, which is the marine biotechnology. That means nowadays you can see the lots of your metabolites are coming out from the marine sources. The marine has the enormous source of the microbes and the other materials. So, you can see and you can tell who is Leeuwenhoek, the inventor of the microscope, and you can see, if you see this one, the Royal Society of the in September dated 17th 1683, and with this A, B, C, D, these are all the different types of microbes. This is the flagella type, A is the bacillus, then this is the your path of, this is the path in which it goes. So, you can see the microbiology, the fantastic wall of the microbiology. It is only due to the your Leeuwenhoek 1632 to 1723. Salmonella in eggs. All you know that eggs are in the salmonella is there in the eggs, E. coli in the burger, Campylobacteria in the chickens. The list goes on and on. The media seems to be always have some story about the germs or viruses that cause some horrible problems for the man. Salmonella is not a, definitely it is not a good thing. Salmonella typhi, E. coli in burger is not a good thing. Then Campylobacteria in the chickens is not required. But these things all, then we sterilize it and all these things. So, that is different thing. But these are the microbes. It is true that there are a lot of ways that microbes can hurt us, especially if we are careless. But do not think that these creatures are a flaw in the God's design. They exist in huge numbers, 5 into 10 to the I think 30 individual microorganisms are there in the whole universe globally. Half of the atmosphere's oxygen is produced by the photosynthetic microbes. So, that means if the microbes are not there, you can see our existence is really difficult. Not only the plants can give only the oxygen, but the microbes, that half of the microbes in the world, in the universe, is produced by the photosynthetic bacteria. Without them, we could not breathe, and our atmosphere would vary widely in its composition. So, you can see what are the importance of the microbes in the biotechnology. Anthrax, all you see is a horrible situation, bioterrorism, that is also microbe. Saccharomyces cerevisiae, you can see the different taste of your bun, then your, what is this one, pizza, and then the bread, and all these things you can see, these are the creatures which are responsible for this. Now, the difference between our grandfathers and ancestor people and with us, that we know this, but how does it matter? We know this, they did not know it, what for it is, but they used to get this product, we are also going to get its product. But the only the difference is that we can get the different varieties of the product, we can control it, we can see the things, we can have, because science has given us lots of power to do the works on these microbes. You can see the cheeseburger, we have been using the microbes for thousands of years to make the products we need for our enjoy, and we enjoy. Cheese and the bread are the two microbe made foods the people have been enjoying since civilization began. So, what is the difference? Now, unlike our ancient ancestors, we know that microbes make the bread to rise and milk to curdle. They did not know it, but they knew the experiments to do. What experiments you have to do so that the milk do not curdle and all these things, but maybe that scientific methodology or scientific things they did not know it. So, you can see the cheese, varieties of cheese, maybe the cheese technology is not very much common in India, but the things are coming up, but you can see the very different qualities of the cheese, you can see the different qualities of the cheese. So, that it is, you can see the cheese here also, this is very much useful. In our country, this is some fermented foods of the Indian origin. You can see the jalebi, these are the different types of jalebi. In the Mohali, I know in the Sunday, if you want to know the jalebi, this is 120 rupees kilo. Other days it is 60 rupees kilo, because they say it is in desi ghee on Sunday. So, you can see the quality. Otherwise also Dahi, kanji, jalebis, waris, idli, dosas, dhokla, these are all fermented products, all fermented products. That means it says the importance of the microbes in our day to day life. Wine, all you know, it is alcohol, no doubt about it, but which is produced by the Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Wine culture is not very much predominant in our country, but it is coming. Slowly it is coming. You can see in the market also there are so many wines are available now freely, especially in Punjab or Chandigarh it is freely available in so many in the shops. But in the Maharashtra region this wine technology is coming up, because any of the fruits which are abundant in our country, that fruits people say that you make the fruits a little bit alcoholic, people all will enjoy, even they do not take the alcohol, does not matter, but it has been experimented very nicely that if you have a little bit of alcohol in your drinks, then it keeps you much more healthy, and which is of course not too much, but the things are like that, it helps you. So, the alcohol technology, sorry, wine technology has already come into our market, and there is a very big business on the wine technology, and 10 years before or 5 years before it was not much, but here now you can see the lots of wine technology in our. So, that was the ancient, you can say the biotechnology like this. And what is the modern biotechnology? So, modern biotechnology is defined, it is the manipulations of the microorganisms, plant cells or the animal cells, always you do the manipulations. It is different from the conventional and the household production methodologies of different substances by traditional bioprocessing and the fermentation. Initially we used to do, as I told you in the Penicillium, Chrysogenum and other things, initially we used to tell that you do the mutation. Modern biotechnology says no mutation. Now we have the recombinant DNA technology, now we have the genetic engineering, it is well designed, well preserved, and all the technologies are known. So, you do real work. How you do? The previous hit or miss manipulation ventures are no longer used. You do not do the mutation, but still mutation is a very wonderful research to do, and lot of people are doing it. Modern manipulations are at molecular level, mind that, where we can predict what effects the manipulations will have. So, you do the site directed mutagenesis. You see the primary structure of the any protein, only the amino acid sequences, primary structure, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, but primary, from the primary structure you take out any amino acid, cysteine, serine or any tryptophan which is the active center, take it out, put another one, so that the things are so much easy to do. Modern biotechnology encompasses fields other than science like commerce, aesthetic issues and all these things. That means they also play a very good part to keep the environment free, free from the pollutions and other things. So, biotechnology is defined as the use of cells and biological molecules to solve the problem or make useful products. So, that means those useful products will have to be made. So, if you see the biotechnology historical background, very quickly I will go through it. In 1750 before Christ, the Sumerians brew the beer, that means Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So, the Saccharomyces cerevisiae was there, that is at 5000 years before, and now also it is here, or maybe the Saccharomyces cerevisiae has changed a lot, other things, alcohol production capacity has increased maybe many times, but it is still the same alcohol which is produced by the Saccharomyces cerevisiae. 1944 DNA confirmed as a genetic material, 67 first protein synthesized, 73 first recombinant DNA experiment by Cohen and Boyer. This Cohen who came to the Indian Science, not Indian Science, Indian Chemical Engineering Congress, who came in 2000 in Calcutta, Cohen, and he delivered a lecture how he this your recombinant DNA product, then insulin, how he made the insulin from this your input the E. coli and produced in the larger quantity for the production. Now you know humulin and all these insulins are available easily in the market. Recombinant DNA advisory committee founded at the NIH, National Institute of the Health. NIH guidelines established, because what the people do abroad, then we copy them, isn't it? So, 1976 then we have started our own things. 1980 Boyer and Cohen patent issued, and the first animal vaccine was made by recombinant DNA technology in 1982. That is insulin only. That is only insulin. This is all the insulin. First DNA technology vaccine. DNA fingerprinting by Alex Zafre in 1985, and you can see the application of the DNA fingerprinting nowadays. I do not have to tell you. And 87 PCR developed was by K. Mullis in 88. PCR is a good technology by which you can extend the your genetic material. Human Genome Project underway 1996, within 3 years 2 years Human Genome Project is finished. Now, there is a question mark 2002 first human clone or not, that is ethical issue. So, we should not talk about that. Dolly is put down, but whatever I mean to say, that biotechnology has come from a very ancient to very modern biotechnology. So, journey from biotechnology to biopharmaceutical biotechnology. Let us see. Actually, this biotechnology term was coined in 1917. Whatever the things may be, because another term will come definitely, nanotechnology, nanobiotechnology. After a few years, you can say that different term will come, but the things, basic things remains the same. Industrial production of the penicillin, all you know, 1921, 23, or maybe like that one, that Alexander the penicillin, and then 1942, 43 it has come to the market by Fleming, 1921, 22, and then came to the market in 1942 during the World War II. Genetic material identified, structured DNA revealed, recombinant DNA technology developed. Let us say from 1973, and monoclonal antibodies development, 88 PCR developed, and then it is the new era of biotechnology has started coming from the 1989 to 90. So, new era of biotechnology and the biopharmaceuticals have come into the picture. So, how this biopharmaceutical is defined? There are two things, one is the biotechnology medicine, another is the biopharmaceutical. Now, biotechnology medicine is defined as any medicine which is produced through the biological means. Penicillin, the biotechnology medicine, tetracycline, penicillin, any antibiotic you name which is produced by the fermentations, they are all biotechnology medicines. However, biopharmaceutical definition is entirely different. You can see, I will read it. A biopharmaceutical is a protein or a nucleic acid. That means, anything other than protein or nucleic acid cannot be biopharmaceutical. Definition is like this, maybe the definition will change after some time, but a biopharmaceutical is a protein or the nucleic acid based pharmaceutical substances used for the therapeutic or in vivo diagnostics purpose, which is produced by all means, by chemical, by biochemical, any means other than direct extraction from the native or non-engineered biological source. It may be microbe, plant cells or animal cells. That means, which is natural is not the biopharmaceutical. So, something must be unnatural, that means it will be the genetically engineered materials. So, genetically engineered materials means any microorganism which is genetically engineered and produce some nucleic acids or proteins which can be termed as a biopharmaceutical. But so far definition, but you may argue with this one, how we can say that any microbes, natural microbes which produce that your protein or the nucleic acid, it cannot be it a biopharmaceuticals, by definition it is not. So, natural extraction, then direct extraction from the native or non-engineered. So, Penicillium caseinum produces the this antibiotic penicillin because it is not nucleic acid, because it is not protein, so it is not a biopharmaceutical, number one. Number two, because it is from the natural sources, so it is not. So, it will have to be from the unnatural source. That means, paclitaxel, let us say, which is that Taxol from the plant product, no, it is not a biopharmaceutical, because you are taking it from your natural sources, and also Taxol is not coming under this your protein or nucleic acid. So, definition, actually there are a lot of controversies, but definition nowadays biopharmaceutical still stands that any molecule which is protein or nucleic acid in nature and has been formed from plant cells or animal cells or your microbes in the non-engineered way, in the engineered way, not non-engineered way. So, natural, not the natural extraction or anything. By defining the method of manufacture, that is by all means other than direct extraction from the native biological source, biopharmaceuticals are defined. But anyway, this definition will change after some time, I am sure. Any pharmaceutical product based on for therapeutic or in vivo diagnostic purpose, which is produced in full or part, penicillin or semisynthetic penicillin, 6-APA, by other traditional or modern biotechnological means is defined as biotechnology medicine. So, biotechnology medicine is a very simple thing. Now, the question, insulin is a biopharmaceutical or biotechnology medicine? Insulin is a biotechnology medicine or biopharmaceutical? Is the protein, insulin is the protein, 21 amino acids or 23 amino acids, whatever 50 amino, whatever the things may be. Biopharmaceutical if it is from the engineered E. coli, but suppose if that same insulin is from the extraction of the your animal sources, it is a biotechnology medicine, or it is not biopharmaceutical at all. So, that means it is the method of production is also very much important. According to that, it is defined. Let us see the pharmaceutical industry at a glance. Pharmaceutical industry is at least 60-65 years old. current value is likely to be doubled the figure or more than estimated value of 100 billion of mid 1980s. It will be just double or maybe more than that. Out of the about 10,000 pharmaceutical companies of the world, true MNC is only 100. 100 may claim of the just to be the true international in nature. Approximate 5,000 individual pharmaceutical substances are manufactured by the different companies, 5,000 individual. And the most important thing is this one. Why this your pharmaceutical substances manufactured are much more important nowadays. It is the microbiological basis of the disease and the principles of organic chemistry underpin the future innovation in the pharmaceutical industry. Now, let us say I am telling you there is a book in the market which has come in the market, that the stereoselective transformations of the bioactive compounds. That means in that book, actually edited by one of NRI, Ramesh Patel, he is from the I think Bristol Myers, he was the managing director of the Bristol Myers and all these things, and the book costs around 5,000 Indian rupees, and the book has the review chapters by the different eminent personalities in the biopharmaceutical production or biotechnology medicine production, where they have clearly shown that most of the chemical reactions within few years, or it has already started, the most of the chemical reactions will be replaced by biochemical reactions. That you can see very well from our 6-APA production. Now, initially the 6-APA, 6-aminopenicillinic acid, it used to be produced by chemical has already gone. Now, penicillin amidase or penicillin acylase. What are the enzymes? Then your enzyme immobilized enzymes, then immobilized cell technology, total you can get the 6-APA. Now, the 6-APA to semisynthetic, nowadays semisynthetic has also stopped more or less, that will be again biochemical by the reverse reactions of the penicillin amidase. So, you change the environmental parameters and you get the para-hydroxy diphenylglycine along with the 6-APA, you get the amoxicillin, and there are so many semisynthetic compounds. So, this microbes actually, that is why continuous culture, the importance of the continuous culture comes here, because you generate the trait in the microbes which you want to be generated, which you want to generate, you generate it. So, that type of the trait can be generated only by the different continuous culture techniques, and this is possible because you know the organic chemistry and the microbiology, they work very nicely together. That means a reaction A to B, which is impossible by chemical, you try to do it by the biochemical. How? No, continuously you feed the microbes A, so that the microbes, there are two options, either it will die or it will try to grow on this A. So, if because you are maintaining the condition in such way that organisms will not die. So, slowly you feed some glucose or something else, but at the same time maximum portion is A, so that a time will come when the organisms will not any other option, it will have to be in love with that A. So, what will happen? The organisms will start producing the trait, so that it can degrade the A. Once it has grown the trait, that trait may be revert back. So, what you do now, the recombinant DNA technology has come into picture, genetic engineering, you try to isolate the DNA from there, because already trait is there. So, that means recombinant DNA technology, that gene you isolate, and then nowadays also there are so many things we do not know much about this. Metagenomic project, metagenomic, that means the gene which is not there, organisms which are not here in the market, or maybe in the soil 5,000 years before it was there. So, you take the soil extraction of DNA, and from the DNA you do the PCR, get the genomic DNA or something like this, then clone it, and then you get some of the trait in the clone, some enzymes which were there 5,000 years before, some lipases which are having the different properties together. So, metagenomic is a very big project by which you can get lots of lipases, esterase, proteases, amidase, acylases, or lots of hydrolytic reactions, lots of your ligation reactions, all the things you can do. So, that is why microbiological basis of the disease and the principles of organic chemistry underpin the future innovations in the pharmaceutical industry. That is why you can see that pharmaceutical industries, this R&D and other things have gone very high. Now, there are the different your pharmaceutical manufacturing, biopharmaceutical manufacturing, these companies, Abbott Laboratories, American Home Products, Baxter, and so on. You can see this is a little bit old one, but does not matter. You can see these are all the Indians: Biocon, Serum of India, Serum Institute of India, Panacea Biotech, Venkateshwar Hatcheries, Venkateshwar Hatcheries, Monsanto, Novo Nordics, then your so many other things, about 20, biological E, Bharat Biotech, Bharat Immunologicals. Now what are the things you can see from here? This is the map of India, where you can see that these are the Hyderabad, maximum Bangalore, Mumbai, Bulandshahr, all these things, Calcutta. So all these things are situated like this one. You can see the growth percentage. 208 is the Monsanto, 114 is the Hatcheries, 29 is the Biocon. So that means the things are coming up so nicely that these are the examples how the biotechnology is coming up into the market. All the products, you see, these are all the products which have been year first introduced. It's 86, 93, 90, 89, all these things have been introduced. They are values in the millions, all the values in the millions. And what are these? These things are all through recombinant DNA technology, that is all, nothing else. All are through high cell density fermentation. 1 cubic meter of reactor or 2 cubic meter of reactor, maybe 10 cubic meter of reactor will be able to provide the insulin throughout the India, but maybe the 10,000 cubic meter of reactor will not be able to provide the alcohol, even the parts, even this part of India. So that means you can understand that the high value low volume product or low value high volume product or like this one. So OKT3 tissue plasminogen activator, that CAD, that is cardiovascular disease, cardiovascular drugs and all these things, erythropoietin, factor 8, interferon, all these things. Some drugs of the plant origin, aspirin, atropine, caffeine, all these things, but this actually recombinant DNA technology has not taken place. So these are all what I say that the direct extraction. You can see Ipecac is a homeopathic medicine, but it is a plant source alkaloid, induce vomiting. So alkaloid, it induces vomiting, so anti-vomiting drug like this digitoxin, codeine, caffeine, atropine, all these things you can see, these are the plant origin. But what is the importance of this? Why I am showing importance is that now with cell culture technology, tissue culture technology, you can do all these things. I will give you one wonderful example, that is the paclitaxel. Now paclitaxel is the, I will come to this and then I will, now you can see all the alkaloids, these are the indications, Hodgkinson disease, leukemia, and these are the plant producers. Till now you have to do all these extractions, but most of the cases what happens, this your tissue culture technology has come. You grow the cultures in huge quantity in the environment, conditioned environmental, and then extract, whole plant is extracted. You can see, we will come to this, or maybe it is not there. Anyway, what happens, this paclitaxel, now if you want to get 1 kg of the Taxol, which is the anti-cancer drug, 30,000 trees will have to be cut. That is the normal 30,000 trees, the trees are not available in India. So this 30,000 tree Taxol or something, the tree will have to be cut. I have a wonderful picture, I do not know why it is not there. So nowadays you do not have to cut the 30,000 trees. So what you have to do, you have to grow all the tissue culture technology, and then the whole plant is extracted out. It was only in the bark, it was only in the bark, that is the Taxol was in the bark, but no, it is the throughout this one. Actually initially it was not throughout, now also it is not throughout, but what happened, when you extract all the things, there is a chemical component which comes, that is called DAB, D-acetyl baccatin, or like that one. Anyway, this DAB will have to be converted to baccatin B, and baccatin then chemical reaction to paclitaxel. Now these two reactions are done in the 2 reactors of 10 cubic meter with 2 recombinant DNA technology. The two organisms have been isolated, one produces esterase, another produces acylase. So 10 deacetylation takes place, acylase 10 deacetylation, so 10 DAB it is called. Then the whole technology for the alcohol Taxol production has completely changed, but in our country it has not come so far. There are 2 or 3 companies which are making this Taxol, that is one is that your Dabur, and another is that your Alkem. They produce it, but they produce in the conventional ways. But this tissue culture technology has come into the picture, and in the tissue culture technology your productivity goes up, lots of productivity goes up, and there is no environmental pollution by cutting the trees. Conventional products, all you know the things, there is the fermentation products of these enzymes, we have already discussed the thing. These are the genetically engineering in the enzymes. Enzymes used for the cheese making, they are all genetically engineered, originally from the calf stomach, but now bovine gene expressed in the grass microbes, generally regarded as safe microbes. FDA approved 1990, now use 70% of the US cheese making genetically engineered. So activity has gone up so much that the cheese making has, you can see lovely cheese, all these things, those I do not like the cheese. So So anybody who likes, they will like it. Aspartame, few amino acids, artificial sweetener made from the aspartic acid and phenylalanine, used in 5000 products. Monosodium glutamate, also monosodium glutamate is the first amino acid which is produced in 1956 in tons. Nowadays you do not know how much quantity they are producing by these by fermentations. Recombinant alpha amylase. Alpha amylase is used for the production of the digestive enzyme. It is a actually it is a medicine. Alpha amylase is a medicine, you can say, because all the digestive enzymes, digestive syrup, they are produced by East India Pharmaceuticals, Astrozymes and Bombay. So many companies they make it. In our country, the amylase requirement is around 500 tons per year. So we produce around 250 to 300 tons, so maybe more than 400 tons nowadays, I do not know exactly, but other requirements are we get it from the abroad. It is a GRAS status in 1995, 10% US corn crop processed into syrups, HFC, high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is produced by alpha amylase and all these things. All you know, this 1,6 linkage, 1,4 linkages that will have to be broken and all this, they are all by. And this is a classical fermenter which I was supposed to show you in that earlier lecture, but this is the New Brunswick fermenter. This we have. This we have, but you can also take it from the internet, does not matter, but this is a wonderful fermenter system by which you have everything. This is the 20 liter, this is the 10 liter, and you have all the pH, temperature, agitation, aeration, pH control, back pressure, all the control systems you have, and this is required for the production of these biopharmaceuticals and biotechnology products. Large scale fermentation unit, you have just simple ideas. These are the baffles, these are the baffles which are there, these are all the impellers, shaft, and then all these things you know all the chemical engineering, pH probe, diesel oxygen probe, motor, then the nutrients feeding, then cooling water goes in, then steam goes out, condensate goes out, steam comes in, like this one. Now we will come to the production of chiral intermediates. Now these chiral intermediates, if you see, these chiral intermediates are very much important. What does it mean? It means that, you know, I do not know, in 1960-65 there was a tragedy in the whole world that is called thalidomide tragedy. Thalidomide was a drug which was supposed to be taken by the pregnant woman for different types of symptoms and other things. They used to take it, but slowly then the offspring which used to come having no legs or no hands or one eye is not there, that means lots of teratogenic effect, and this teratogenic effect was considered after lots of research. The thalidomide changes its stoichiometry, its your form, it changes, that is L form and the R form or the D form on the L form, all this form it changes, enantiomer, it becomes the L enantiomer, D enantiomer and all these things, and this led to the research on the enantiomeric production of the biotechnological products, and FDA in 1992 has promulgated a rule that any medicine which will have to be marketed in the any drug which will have to be marketed, that will have to be single enantiomeric form. That single enantiomer after going to the stomach, it may again become become R and S both, but does not matter, that we do not have much control on this one, but single enantiomer will have to be. Now let us see something about this. Chirality, the handedness, non superimposable mirror image, that is these two, left hand and right hand, if you see, these are chiral, both are chiral, because what happens, you cannot superimpose. Superimpose is not like this one, you cannot superimpose. So suppose if you can superimpose, then there is no chirality, but if you cannot superimpose, then the chirality is there. Molecular chirality forms the basis of physiology and the drug action. If you see all our body systems and all the microbes body systems and whatever the things may be, they are all the L form, L form, L form, L form. So any medicine or any drug which you put, if the medicine or the drug is having the L form, their conjugation will be much better, which is quite obvious. So but if you put the L and D both, the R and S both, or L and D both, then what will happen, D may not be required. You can say that D is not required, so what, L will require and L will do the job, but D may have the reverse effect also, it may have adverse effect on this. That means it will not only it will not do anything, but it may hamper the whole system. How I will come to this. Chirality is particularly important in drug receptor interactions. Improper chirality of drugs can lead to drug toxicity, causing serious health and the associated problems. You can see hand, mirror image, non superimposable. This is one drug, you can see you cannot superimpose. If you take it to this one, that means you cannot superimpose, the superimposable is impossible. Enantiomers, these enantiomers, both the enantiomers, both same molecule enantiomers, they are mirror image of another molecule. These mirror image molecules identical properties in chemical, then in achiral environment they have the same, their molecularity is the same, temperature, molecular weight, temperature, melting temperature, everything is the same, only the biological properties are the different. In chiral environment display different properties. So, achiral environment means what? Are we chiral or achiral? We are chiral. Because with the chiral, so in the chiral environment, what will happen in the chiral environment? Their effect will be the different. L and D effect will be entirely different, but identical properties in the achiral environment. Any achiral environment means any chemical reaction you do it, they have the same boiling point, same melting point, and all these things they will do. Whenever but the drug you are administering to any, whatever the ways you do to the human body or anybody, then achiral environment, it is not the racemic type, the achiral environment is obtained. So, the L likes the L, D may have the adverse effect. You can see how active enantiomer, it goes drug binding side, biological effect is there. Here you can see this is the mirror image, same thing, but the mirror image of this one, inactive enantiomer. Why? It does not fit, you can see it does not fit, but here it fits well, it fits well. So, sorry, this is drug binding site undesirable effect. So, the effect will not be the undesirable effect. So, you can see thalidomide, yes, what I was saying, thalidomide, it is sedative or S is teratogenic, carcinogenic. Ethambutol, S is tuberculostatic, the patients are given the ethambutol, but RR is the blindness. Penicillamine is anti-arthritic, is extremely toxic. It is sweet, aspartame, S is bitter. So, you can see how the difficult things are there. So, racemate versus enantiomers. The mechanism of the drug interaction on a molecular level has widened the awareness of the importance of the chirality as the key to the efficacy of the drug product. One of the stereoisomer, that is which is called eutomer, actually basically the good one is the eutomer, bad one is the distomer. So, eutomer is either is inactive or exhibits a considerably reduced activity, that is the eutomer and distomer. Sorry, distomer is the bad one. Pharmaceutical companies are aware that the new drugs should be homochiral or without racemic to avoid the possibility of unnecessary side effect due to an undesirable stereoisomer. And physical characteristics of the enantiomers versus racemates confers the processing of the formulation advantage. Lots of advantages are there if you use the single enantiomer. What are the advantage? These are the potential benefits of the enantiomer. The number one benefit is that reduced dose and load on metabolism. That means initially we used to take 1 gram of the racemic mixture, now we take 0.5 gram. So, racemic mixture is that mixture which is 0.5, there is half 50% of the L enantiomer, 50% of the D enantiomer constitute a 100% racemic mixture. If it is 40-60, then it is not, but generally all the enantiomic things are always in this 50-50. Better control of the kinetics because only one is used, greater confidence in setting up the single dose, because the formulation part is very much important, because you do not have to take much amount to be taken, reduced interactions with other common drugs and enhanced activity. Naturally 0.5 gram has gone, 0.5 gram bad one has not gone, so that toxicity has reduced, increased specificity and reduced side effects, FDA guidelines, increased regulatory pressure. So, all these things has led that you have to be single enantiomeric, and in which although it is a little bit old one, but you can see the tendency, the global sales of the single enantiomeric drug, current status and future projections. Global sales in $1 million, you can see how much it is. 2005, but I can bet you this will be like this, this will be like this. So, all these things will go up, all these things will go up like this one, and this is from the chemical engineering news, and here you can see it will always go up. Single enantiomer, these are all the single enantiomer, single enantiomer, single enantiomer, and these are all going up. What are the different drugs on which the single enantiomers will work? Starting from the antibiotics, which is very bigger one, antifungal, antiviral, cancer, cardiovascular, central nervous system, PNS, peripheral nervous system, dermatology, gastroenterology, gastrointestinal, hematology, endocrinology, ophthalmics, respiratory, vaccines and other things. We have the MTech students with us who all of them get the MTech in pharmaceutical biotechnology, and what we do, we give one topic to each of them and tell them, then you find out through the net and all these things what are the different drugs which have come to the market through biotechnology route, which differs the enantiomers. That means by the racemic your what I mean to say, that enzymatic systems to convert the racemic to single enantiomer. And you will be surprised, this was in this year, it was all the 6 semester 1 credit was there, and except dermatology only 1 or 2 drugs have been, more or less everywhere you can see the single enantiomeric drugs are in the market, and they are produced by, actually we do not know some of the things, because I also work on the antidepressant drug duloxetine, fluoxetine, all these two, and lebulazole, which is CBD, that is cardiovascular drug, and diltiazem, which is an old drug of course, and ezetimibe. Ezetimibe is also drug, which is a ezetimibe drug is a cholesterol lowering drug, but you cannot get much information on this. Some of the informations are there which are all patented, and we actually we have the very tight positions to get some of the microbes which can do these reactions, because you have the big chemistry group that we have, the medicinal chemistry group we have, and also the biotechnology or bioprocess engineering group we have, where we do the continuous culture technique. This we have a small reactor of 0.5 liter, and we use that 0.5 liter to generate lots of your this type of microbes. But we what we do, we have some of the industries, we take out the material and then we enrich the culture. We enrich the culture by subjecting the culture into the different soils and let it go for years together, and then we try to get some of the metabolites and other things, and then try to do the things. Whenever we are successful to get some of the microbes, we immediately transfer them to the microbial type culture collection in MTCC, and that is in IMTech, so that they can deposit it, and then we isolate that organisms. We are not very perfect in that one, because my subject specialty is not that one, but we try to isolate the gene from that one. We have started that one, and then we try to recombinant DNA technology work, or we try to clone. Once you get the clone, then the things are more or less your permanent. Microorganisms in organic synthesis, high growth rates which allows the generation of the large amount of the catalyst. Now organic synthesis, that means any organic synthesis, you know that aqueous 2 phase reactions, lots of aqueous 2 phase reactions, you know, 3 phase reactions also, solvent extraction, all the, because microbes can also very well work in the non aqueous medium. They can very well work non aqueous medium. They need some amount of the aqueous moiety to work up the cysteine. Let us say cysteine is the disulfide group, sulfidyl group. Sulfide, what is there in the sulfide group? 2 pair of electrons, lone pair of electrons. So they can be donated to other nucleophilic reactions can take place. Substrate for growth are often cheap and include waste materials from other industrial process. They are generally more robust and less fastidious than plant and animal cell culture. So that is why we try to need all the microbes. You grow the microbes, you throw it, you do not like, but mammalian cell culture actually which you cannot do. Number one, it is very difficult to work on the mammalian cell cultures, because until and unless you have a very stable cell line, CHO line or any other thing, all other cell lines actually are highly prone to contamination. And then you have the petal cup serum and other things you have to take as a substrate, which itself is so highly contaminated that this is a protein, total protein. So microbes are the best suitable. Yes, I may be little bit inclined to the microbes because we work on the microbes. There are many different types of the microbes, each with unique nutritional and physiological features which may be desirable for process development. Collectively, microorganisms have a broad complement of the enzymes. That is why we like the microbes, and production plants involving microbes are generally independent of climatic conditions. That means this is very important, because whether you want to do it in Madras or whether you do it in Calcutta or whether you do it in Chandigarh, but these are all done in an atmosphere which is climatic conditions are more or less controlled. In a room temperature you can do it. So which may be possible for the plant cells or the animal cells also, but with microbes it will be handling will be much more easier. Some microbes like E. coli, the genome is well known, totally genome is well known E. coli. Many microbes are single cell organisms that grow well in static bioreactors, different because of the different types of process, easy process, because microbes have the, you can, so you know that it is that surface area per volume is very high, growth rate is very high, doubling time is very less, only 15 to 20 minutes of doubling time. So within 10 hours all the organisms will grow. You can see this is the enzyme requirement, although there is a little bit galti hai, this will be 2007 not 2005. This is US consumption of industrial enzymes by major end use through the 2007. You can see this is for the food and the animal feed, this is the detergent. Food and the animal means what are the things? Food and animal means amylase, mainly amylase, protease. Detergent or cleaners, it is lipase, proteases. Then chemical manufacturing, oxidases, lipases, special oxidases, lipases and all these things. And then you can see that this one textile, leather technology, textile proteases is also there, and gelianase, textile maximum gelianase, also textile, lots of gelinases are used because of textile effluent. Chlorine, when you use the excess amount of the chlorine, chlorophobia, it is not a green chemistry. Everybody wants to do the green chemistry, so lipase actions will have to be there. And this is in the pulp and paper technology, here also gelianase, lots of gelinases are used. So that means everywhere you can see that these are all increasing, trend is increasing. This is a biocatalysis cycle by your own, but it is a very simple thing that any reactant you convert to product, you need the process. Now here economics plays a very important role. Yes, I am not going to the economics at this moment, but anyway our all work will be, of course you need lots of research work to be done, and but what the cycle says that reactant A will be converted to the product B. Now economic plays a very important role, economics. If it is not economic, then there is no fun of doing all these things, but again there are definitely fun of doing all these things, because otherwise you will not be able to know the your science behind it. And then who will be doing, after doing all these things, what will happen? A time may come when you can get a product out of these things. The biocatalyst selection is very much important, biocatalyst selection. This selection means you do the screening enzymes or cells. Now how to do the screening? I will give an example, very simple. You have, that is a very simple thing, you have the amylase enzyme you want to isolate from the microbes, which is a very well known, that you have a starch plate. So you have a plate of the starch, you put that amylase will take out the starch, you put the iodine and starch reacts blue color, the zone where you will not get the color, that is the usual way. Now I give you one example, another example for the your, let us say the things in which we are working, nitrilase. So nitrilase is an enzyme, is a wonderful enzyme. What it does, it takes care or adds one molecule of the water in C triple bond end. C triple bond end is cyanide. What it does, water molecule adds there. So C double bond O NH2 amide, wonderful applications, and I will tell you tons of polyacrylamide, PA. This polyacrylamide, all you know, monomer, dimer, polyacrylamide, these 30,000 tons of polyacrylamide are produced, or maybe more, I do not know exact value, but it is maybe 30,000 tons of polyacrylamide are produced by Rhodococcus rhodocrus, Rhodococcus rhodocrus organisms. And you see these are all the technology by the Mitsubishi, Japanese. Actually the difference between them and us working is that whatever they work, they make gold from the garbage. I will not say what we do, we may be doing the opposite, but does not matter I should not say publicly, but whatever the things they get it. You see that nitrile, this is a nitrile component which is the waste. The nitrile in this is 1992, that time in their country, in whole Japan, the total polyacrylamide which requirement was 1 lakh kg, I am 100% sure, this 1 lakh kg, 1 lakh kg or whatever the things may be, 1 lakh kg, 80,000 is to be produced by 80,000 kg is to be produced by your chemical means, 20,000 is by biochemical means. In the next year just opposite, and third year onwards total, and then you can see the total, and these are all by biochemical means, total biochemical means. So you can see then biocatalyst characterization, you have to characterize in terms of the kinetics, reaction conditions and the structural informations. Come to the biocatalyst engineering, cell engineering, process engineering, enzyme engineering, all these things you have to do, applications, stability, immobilization, cofactor generations, and these are all different chapter, different PhDs you can say. And then product recovery, downstream and recovery, and after all these things, suppose the economics does not work together, then again you have to do it. That means what does it mean? The take home message is that this cycle, like the TCA cycle, will go on, carry on, as long as you do the research on the genobiotics or the good products which you want to produce, the stereoisomers and other thing, this will have to be continued. There is no doubt about it. Major enzymes in the biocatalysis. What are the different enzymes? Hydrolytic enzymes. Hydrolytic enzymes such as proteases, esterases, lipases are particularly easy and to use the bioreactor, because available in the large quantity, stable in the non aqueous solvent. Why it is non aqueous solvent is required? जे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगता है इसलिए नहीं, non aqueous solvent is required because the substrates which you are taking, they are all insoluble in water. So, the substrates like doluxetine, fluoxetine, all these things, the substrate DKTP. DKTP is a very big component. This is a very big component DKTP. Diethyl, keto, methyl, these so many, diltiazem, MPGM, methyl phenyl glycidic methyl ester. So, this is such a very big component, they are all insoluble 100% in water. So, you have to make them soluble in the minimum quantity of the organic. So, that means some amount of the your organic solvent is always there. So, the enzymes will have to find out that that enzyme should be available in the large quantity and which can work in the organic solvent. Available in the large quantity, stable in the non aqueous solvent, do not have the cofactor requirement, but which is very easy to say, but oxidoreductase they have, you require the cofactor requirement. Oxidoreductase cannot work without NAD NADH system. Lipase they do not require any cofactor, cofactor as a your metal ions, but NAD NAD system, FAD FAD system is required for the oxidoreductase, is very well known. So, accordingly if you take in the case of oxidoreductase, let us say if you take the whole cells, it is always easier to work because NAD NAD system is there in the system, but if you use the enzymes, then you have to set in the system, another system is will have to be set through the substrate that NAD NADH is regenerated there. So, ketone to alcohol, another alcohol to ketone. So, ketone to alcohol is the reduction, alcohol to ketone is the oxidation. So, oxidation reduction, redox potential will have to be met in the system. This is a good work. Many oxygenation reaction requires the cofactors, can be only performed using the whole microorganism. That is why I am telling whole microorganisms account for the 30% of the all reported biotransformations are done by this oxidoreductase system. These are all the applications of the enzymes you can see, especially the lipases. Is such a versatile enzyme, organic synthesis, pulp and paper industry, oleochemistry, pharmaceuticals, wastewater treatment, food and dairy, polymers, cosmetics, leather, biosurfactant, agrochemicals, detergents. You tell me where it is not there. So, that means you can see the lipase, and lipase is produced by mainly by Candida and mainly by the Pseudomonas, and these lipases also now you can buy from the market very easily. That is write to the Sigma, they will send you 1 kg of lipase of different genetically engineered organisms from genetically engineered organisms, and cost is very cheap. It is not, but yes, regioselectivity, stereoselectivity and chemoselectivity you can do, but regioselectivity and the stereoselectivity with these lipases are very difficult to do. So, you have to generate your own. These are the enzyme bioreactors which you have seen, immobilized enzyme reactor, immobilized enzyme, that is that immobilized enzyme, this is also immobilized enzyme, this is the batch, this is the continuous substrate, you see the your down flow, this is the product upflow, and this is the best one which one should use because there is a recycle ratio. Any reactor which is that your, let us say this column immobilized column reactor, there are two things which are very much important to keep in mind. One is that your the rate at which the substrate is flow is going and the rate at which the substrate is being consumed by the whole system. So, there is a competition between the two, if it is less or more, then that is why recycle is given, and this is as simple as that, that is why the recycle is given. These are immobilized enzyme, your immobilized enzyme fluidized bed reactor where the mass transfer is very much important, and this is also a very good one. This is called continuous ultrafiltration reactor. Continuous ultrafiltration means what? You can see from here that what is happened, there is a NMWC, it is called NMWC means nominal molecular weight cutoff. Anything you want to take it out, let us say 50 kD protein, 100 kD protein you want to separate and all these things. So, let us say 40 kD protein you want to separate it out, you put it here a 50 kD filtration in it. So, anything below 50 will all go out, anything above 50 will be above, 60 kD protein, let us say I just told the wrong thing, a 60 kD protein if you want to put the 50 kD, whatever the things you want to do, you put another 10 less, so that the bigger one will be up and all the lower will go down, and it will be concentrated, 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 and you get the purification. So, these are different types of reactors where you can see the things. Immobilized packed bed reactor, actually you can see alginate immobilized beds, and actually we did a lot of work on this one for the production of alcohol. This alcohol means not ethanol, but this alcohol is a very good alcohol, that is actually lots of importance are there into this type, like this one diphenyl ketone, like this one, this ketone. So, if you put it oxidoreductase, this will be OH, this will be H, this will be phenyl, this will be phenyl, and this is L form or RS form has the heavy market value, because it is single enantiomer. So, any chemical, if you can produce the single enantiomeric form, it has the market value, absolutely market value, and there are 5 or 6 companies, maybe 2 companies I know, not I do not know much companies, but there are 2 companies in our country also, they are trying to do it in a small quantity. But the main problem of this one, that substrate tolerance. Substrate tolerance is the millimolar level. Till now whatever we have done, they are all in millimolar level, 100 millimolar to 500 millimolar, but slowly we are trying to do it through the molecular biology, the recombinant DNA technology, that is 500 millimolar level, but you need in molar level, so that the systems will be economic, otherwise the things will not be economic. But these are all high value product, the values are very high. So, advantage of the enzyme immobilization, I think you know. So, there is no need. Wholesale process, advantage, disadvantage, this wholesale process is always very good, cell disruption is not required, enzyme isolation is not required, more suited for multiple step, all these things. Disadvantage also, I think you know the things. Now, these are the scale of production, fine chemicals, intermediate volume chemicals, and the bulk chemicals. Always you can see that fine chemicals are 1000 kg per annum, 100 tons per annum usually batch reactors, intermediate 100 to 2000, and bulk chemicals more than 20,000, and these are you see this, and this molecular biology things, that is your fine chemicals, or you can the superfine chemicals have not come to this picture. There the products will come through the all recombinant DNA technology. Possible drawbacks of the bioprocess, there are many drawbacks of the bioprocess. It is not like that bioprocess are always very good to do. What are these? Substrate or the product inhibition of the reaction, this will have to be overcome. So, by how to do it? No, you have to do it by continuous research and all these things, and the enzymes will have to be, or the cell mass will have to be generated in such a way that more and more product, that is why I tell you substrate tolerability, that is that your product tolerability, inhibition should not be there or less inhibition. Poor understanding of the reaction kinetics, substrate poorly soluble in water, this is a very big problem in the bioprocess. The substrate is not soluble in the water. If it is not soluble, that means you have to do the biphasic reaction. Biphasic reaction means the reaction takes place in the substrate is in the organic phase, no doubt, enzymes are in the aqueous phase, and then the substrate penetrate from the aqueous phase to the from the organic phase to the this your aqueous phase, and then the reaction takes place. When the product forms, the product may not be soluble in the aqueous phase. So, again it will have to take to the solvent phase. High temperatures damage enzymes or cells, cooling required, that is of course cooling is anyway done. Contamination by unwanted microorganisms, that is not so much important. Genetic stability of the instability of the process microorganism, this is very I will actually one of my students who worked Deluxatin very much, and for 1 year he got so much good activities and all these things. Then we published a paper out of this. You will not believe that within 6 months the organism lost all its good qualities. That means that organism did not. So, what we did, but luckily we did, or we deposited all the organisms as soon as it is there in microbial type culture collection. They are deposit, because they deposit much better way than what we do. We took it the culture back again, and then process it thorough passing through the same substrate again and again another 6 months, then we revert back to that same thing. So, now other genetic engineering things are done. So, that is it, that is the main genetic instability of the process microorganisms. This is very important, which I give importance to always in this matter. Need for purified substrate and water to avoid the poisoning of the biocatalyst, which is also done, which is not very a big problem. Low concentration of the product stream, this is the main another big problem, because the product concentration is less, then what will happen, downstream will be much costly. poor reliability and reproducibility of the process, high cost of the state of the art fermentation or biotransformation plant. Actually fermentation it is okay, but the biotransformation plant for all these xenobiotic compounds or all the compounds which are very difficult to degrade and other things is really a very big problem. So far not lots of technology have come, but there is a company in Switzerland, Lonza. They published a paper 20 years of Lonza, 20 years of Lonza, and their main product is nicotinamide, and this nicotinamide is the main product which is from the corresponding nitrile, just addition of the water, and it is a huge quantity. Although there is no chirality and all these things, but so they if you see that or if you go to their website and see, if you go to the Lonza website and see that all the impossible chemical reactions they have made possible by the microbes. Advantage of the biocatalyst, you know, stereo, regio, chemo specificity and all these things are there, reduced disposal cost, reduced number of synthetic steps and all these mild reactions, all these things are. Bioprocess development commercial considerations, which I have already I think taken care in this last research and development. What are the things we need for the research and development? Now, growth and improvement of the cells for the catalytic use, that is why we need site directed mutagenesis. One of two of my students are working on this one, especially on the nitrilase, which can work at the higher temperature. So, for that you have to do the mutations, you have to do the genetic engineering work from the organisms which is already cloned. So, you get another mutant from this one and the different traits you try to incorporate into this organism. Immobilization of the biocatalyst also we say lot of things, but still the things for this this type of substrate is very limited. Preparation of the chemical feedstocks, design of the bioreactor, which is of course is not very difficult because the things are all well established more or less. Optimization of condition in the bioreactor, yes, separation of the product from the byproducts and the waste products, that is the solvent extraction, recycling of the disposal of the byproducts, product isolation from the dilute aqueous solutions, product purification and formulation, scale up. But the scale up will come ultimately if the process is successful. Yes, improve, how we can improve, yes, this is very good. Strategies for improvement of the process microorganisms, how we can do, there are three ways. One is selecting the natural variants, selecting the induced mutants and selecting the recombinants. I will go prefer this one, so that you can get the permanent one produced by protoplast fusion or by in vitro genetic engineering. In vitro genetic engineering is the better one, but it takes a lot of time, and at the end of the day they end up, the genetic engineers or other things, they end up an organism which do not have much activity, much more activity than the parent one. So, that is a big problem, but the things are coming up like different types of vectors are there, Pichia and Saccharomyces pombe. Estimation of cell mass, you have to estimate the cell mass, products and substrates and all these things in order to have a nice your system to be discussed. Protein estimation methods, the cell estimation more or less by derived methods, by your indirect, direct, all these methods you know, but this protein estimation methods will have to be, you see the all the protein estimation methods have been designed, absorbance at 280 nanometer, 0.1 to 1 nanometer per ml, a nanogram actually. Modified Lowry method 0.1 to 2 milligram per ml, Bradford method 0.5 to 50 microgram per ml, these are all the sensitivities. This BCA method 0.5 to 50, this protein peptide 0.05 to 500 microgram, biorate nobody uses nowadays. So, these are the all the methods which are required, and the best method I think you can do by this one, Bradford method. Nowadays everybody does this Bradford method, so you can, or silver staining also you can do it, where it takes in nanogram quantity. Now, the difference between the enzyme as a drug and other drugs, you can see enzymes often bind and act on the targets with great affinity and the specificity. All we know that enzyme kinetics, competitive inhibition, non-competitive inhibition, uncompetitive inhibition and irreversible inhibition. Irreversible inhibition, there is no reversibility, so it is complete denaturation. Examples are not much, there are, but competitive inhibitions in the drug actions are much more important. So, the competitively inhibition by the materials of the drugs. Enzymes often bind and act on their targets with great affinity and the specificity. Enzymes convert multiple target molecules to the desired products. Proteinaceous in nature, thus cannot be administered orally. That is very important. That means oral administrations cannot be given because they are all proteins, because these proteins will be digested in the stomach pH 1.4 to 1.5 or maybe 2 pH. So, all the materials will be digested. Need to be specially formulated as enteric coated. So, enteric coated if intended for the oral therapy. Need to be very high purity. Inferior preparations have shown to elicit several immune response, because one dose you can give like streptokinase. Streptokinase, when the CVD your severe your problem. So, one dose you can give, more than one dose is not suggested, because more than one dose means it is a immune problems will come into the picture. Source of the therapeutic enzymes. Now, these therapeutic enzymes means enzymes which are used for the therapy. Now, these enzymes are animal sources, you can get it, plant sources you can get it, and microbial sources, bacterial or fungal sources. We can see a little bit about the now the enzymes of therapeutic origin, which is having the therapeutic values. What are those things? Now, examples of the animal sources, the trypsin, chymotrypsin, lipase, alteplase. Alteplase means your natural streptokinase, alteplase, Chinese hamster, urokinase, that is also tissue type plasminogen activator, TPA, lysozyme, adenosine deaminase, bovine intestine, pepsin, ribonuclease and reptilase. So, these are the main animal sources, enzymes which are from the animal sources and which can be used as a therapy. You see, therapeutic enzyme, diagnostic enzyme, both are different. Diagnostic enzymes are enzymes which are used for the diagnosis, and therapeutic as a drug. Examples of the plant sources: papain, bromelain, amylase, nattokinase. Nattokinase is streptokinase again. Nattokinase is a tissue plasminogen activator, TPA. Examples of the microbial sources, you can see L asparaginase, collagenase, streptokinase, glutaminase, rhodonase, staphylokinase, beta. Actually, what happens? These things are very easy to do compared to the plant cells or animal cells. These are also very easy to do compared to the plant cells or the animal cells. So, that means we always go for the microbial sources. Choice of the enzyme sources: microbes are preferred choice because of the different reasons. All we know the things. So, you do not have to I do not have to do it again. Their enzyme content is more predictable and controllable. You can control pH, temperature, all these things in the reactor, and you can get the things. These are the therapeutic enzymes. Actually, in general, you can see the therapeutic enzymes are like this one. These therapeutic enzymes: genetic disease, Gotchard disease, Fabry's disease, MPS, Pompe MPS, these are all actually polysaccharide deposit disease or fat deposit disease. SCID, severe, I will come to this, CF, cystic fibrosis, PKU, ketonuria. Now, all these genetic disease, all these genetic diseases, therapeutic enzymes are used. Lots of therapeutic enzymes are used, and they are all produced by recombinant DNA technology. Then burn debridement, infectious disease, miscellaneous and clotting. Clotting, procoagulants, anticoagulants in cancer. All you know, the asparaginase is a very good enzyme for the cancer treatment. Not only asparaginase, there are many things. Antineoplastic and pro-drug activator enzymes. So, again this is anti-protozoa, antifungal, antibacterial. That means therapeutic enzymes has lots of things to play. It can go for the genetic disease, it can go for the non-genetic disease. So, this lysosomal storage LSD, it is called LSD, lysosomal storage disease. Let us see what other. These are the group of genetic disease passed down in the family. It affects 1 in 7,700 live births. Each results from the different defects in the genes. Some common LSDs, lysosomal storage disease, some common examples are Fabry's, the name of the scientist, Hurler's disease, Gotchard's disease and Hunter's disease. All these things are what it does actually by Fabry. I will come to this. It results due to the accumulation of a fatty substance called globotrianosylceramide or something like that, GB3. GB3 is very much important, GB3 in the kidneys, heart, nerve and blood cells. What this enzyme does? It breaks down, treated with the recombinant human galactosidase A. So, that means Fabry's disease, the treatment is the galactosidase A. Galactosidase is a very common example, common enzyme. What it does? it prevents the Gb3 accumulation by breaking it down. And then that is the Gotchard disease is also LSD disease. It results due to the deficiency of an enzyme glucose cerebrosidase. Cerebrosides is also the your lipid containing material. Glucose is the polysaccharides group and cerebroside is the lipid. So, fat and lipid there is a big molecules. So, causes lipid accumulation in the spleen and liver and their subsequent swelling. So, the cerebrosidase it breaks the cerebrosides and the enzyme glucocerebrosidase is used to treat the disease. It is derived from the human tissue, purified and then chemically altered in the build up, but nowadays it is produced by the recombinant DNA technology. Thrombolytic drugs, all you know, it is very well fibrinolytics, what it does, plasminogen. So, this plasmin actually plasmin which is active, not the plasminogen, and plasminogen is converted to plasmin by the action of the TPA, and then plasmin is so active that it breaks down the fibrin, insoluble fibrin to fibrin fragment soluble and the clot is dissolved. Streptokinase the same thing, it is obtained from the beta hemolytic Streptococcus group, Streptococcus Streptococcus marcescens, sorry, not Streptococcus equisimilis. It inactive as such combines with the circulating plasminogen, it is antigenic, can cause hypersensitivity reactions and by repeated use. Urokinase isolated from the human urine, it is isolated from the male human urine, now prepared by cultured human kidney cells, activates the plasminogen non antigenic because it is of the human origin. Alteplase also recombinant tissue plasminogen activator, it is produced by the recombinant DNA technology and all these things. It is a serine, binds to the rather expensive, it is very expensive. Nattokinase, it is from the food. So, nattokinase you can food origin, extracted from a traditional Japanese food called natto, cheese like food. Natto is produced by fermentation Bacillus natto to boil soybeans, it dissolves the fibrin directly. That means, those people who used to take this fermented food, they have the rare heart disease. Nattokinase, then L-asparaginase oncolytic mechanism of action. Normal tissues synthesize the L-asparagine in sufficient quantities for the protein synthesis. That means, L-asparagine is an amino acid which is required for the protein synthesis. Fine. Most neoplastic tissues require its exogenous supply from the circulation. That means, the cancerous tissues they do not have the ability to synthesize the L-asparagine. So, that means, in order to survive you need the L-asparagine. So, L-asparagine from the circulation goes to these cancerous cells. L-asparaginase breaks down the circulating L-asparagine. So, you put the L-asparaginase which breaks down the L-asparagine in the circulation only in that cancerous cell, and cancerous cells do not get the L-asparagine at all. 2 L-aspartate and ammonia prevents protein synthesis of the neoplasms, because the protein synthesis in the cancerous cells is stopped. So, it produces cell death through the activation of apoptosis, that means cells die, because we put the L-asparaginase, L-asparagine is broken down to L-aspartic acid and aspartate through the blood circulations, the cells do not get, but then the question comes whether the normal cells are affected. No, it does not affect the normal cells. Production of the L-asparaginase, it is produced by Eruina, recombinant E. coli, Aspergillus penicillium and Fusarium. Recombinant asparaginase production is done. This is also very well studied material, asparaginase, how it is produced, and it is actually available in the market, 30 to 40 units per ml. Asparaginase production continued, yes, it is also the same way. Other potential candidates for the cancer treatment is pegylated, means polyethylene glycol. So, pegylated is called pegylated arginine deaminase. Methods are the same, that is one of the amino acids you try to actually block the amino acid synthesis, so that the proteins are not synthesized in the cancerous cells. Chondroitinase AC, adapt antibody dependent enzyme product therapy, all these things are available for the cancer treatment. Some important therapeutic enzymes, these therapeutic yes, asparaginase, collagenase, high allurinidase, lysozymes, ribonuclease, streptokinase, all these things are there. All these reactions are taking place like this, and these are the uses. Proteolytic and glycolytic enzymes for the treating damaged tissues, that is your proteases, proteolytic enzymes or proteases, debridement of damaged tissues from the burns. Debris, this debris is enzyme, debris, proteases, cell dressing. Then fibrillase TM, recombinant fibrillation. Fibrillation is an protease enzyme. A proteolytic enzyme from the marine microorganisms. You can see the marine is the very good source of the your different types of microorganisms and different types of metabolites. And we worked on these marine microorganisms, one bacillus that used to produce that amylase. In actually they used to produce the amylase in 2% sodium chloride solution, that means highly alkaline your sodium chloride solution, because it was isolated from the marine sources. Proteolytic enzyme subtilan, subtilans is a very well known enzyme, Bacillus subtilis. Then enzymes for the infectious disease, RNase, urinary chitinase, chitinase antifungal, chitinase because the chitin is a very wonderful your polymer. It is a polymer of the N-acetyl glucosamine, N-acetyl glucosamine, N-acetyl glucosamine like this. It is very tough, it is a tougher than cellulose, and it has lots of use. And chitinase is an enzyme which breaks down the chitin, and from the chitin you can get NAG, NAM and all these things, N-acetyl glucosamine, muramic acid, all this. Serratio peptidase, it is obtained from the Serratia species. Purified enzyme has the anti-inflammatory and sputum liquefying properties, that means it is also the protease. Peptide, yes, peptidase, yes, it is peptides are broken down. Edema, it eliminates inflammatory edema and swelling. These enzymes are used trauma surgery, plastic surgery, respiratory medicine, infections, male genital infections, dermatology, dentistry, gynecology, all these things, they are Serratia peptidase, and it is actually available in the market, and it is all prescribed by the doctors. Therapeutic indicator, therapeutic enzymes, uricase, you can see urate oxidase is obtained from the Candida utilis, ribonuclease. Actually this is anti-HIV also. You see ribonuclease 1, ribonuclease 2, phosphodiesterase linkase. You can see this is the glucose, ribose, but anyway hydroxyl group. This is also hydroxyl group. This is the bond. This here it breaks, here it breaks. So the breakage takes place, and it is used as antiviral agent to hydrolyze the viral RNA. Ribonuclease 1 from the pancreas, ribonuclease T1 from the moles. So it has a wonderful high alluminase obtained from the bovine testicular tissue extracts. It breaks down the high aluminic acid in the connective tissues, temporarily decreases the viscosity of the cellular cement and thus increasing tissue permeability, OIC. That means this cellular cementing things are broken down. Papain is a protease, a protein cleaving enzyme, enzymes like lipases, amylases, proteases, digestive enzymes, and these digestive enzymes common mixture is produced by many companies in our country. Pancreatic enzymes, other uses,